Thank you very much. Good morning to all of you, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. First of all, thank you for coming to this press conference. I will start saying that the European Union is happy to accept the invitation of the Electoral Commission to come and observe the parliamentary elections scheduled for March 22nd. And for me personally, it's a great privilege to have been given the opportunity to lead this observer mission. Actually, this is my first visit to your country. This will be the first EU full election observation mission to take place in the Maldives. And I hope that our presence will contribute to a peaceful and inclusive democratic environment for the benefit of the Maldivian people. The European Union has established a strong reputation for independent and impartial election observation. Election observation is an important part of the EU policy of promoting human rights and democracy throughout the whole world. In the last decade, the EU has deployed more than 100 election observation missions. The elections in your country are very important for the Maldivian people. We see them as an opportunity to strengthen the country's democratization process. Our observation mission will be made up of some 30 EU observers. A core team of 5 elections experts based in Male arrived here on March 4th, as Mary already mentioned, and 4 long team observers are coming later today. The long-term observers will be deployed in 2 teams of 2 to North Malay Atoll, covering the North Central Province, and to Adu Atoll, covering the South Province. Some 20 short-term observers will be deployed later, closer to the election day, including a group of observers locally recruited from EU member states' embassies in Colombo. Our mandate is to conduct an independent and comprehensive analysis of the election process and assess the extent to which it complied with international and regional commitments for democratic elections, as well as with domestic law. We will observe the entire electoral process, including the legal framework and its implementation, campaign activities, the conduct of media, voting, ballot counting and tabulation, as well as the general environment in which the elections are being conducted. Our observation will also include an analysis of the work of the election administration, which plays a fundamental role in the organization of democratic elections. The impartiality of the election administration is a cornerstone of any democratic electoral process. We are here to observe whether all parties, party leaders and candidates can participate fully and freely in the campaign, respecting the rights and freedom associated with the open, transparent and genuinely competitive elections. The findings of EU election missions are based on verified facts following an analysis of all technical aspects of the organization of the elections. In our report, we will offer an impartial, balanced and informed assessment of the elections and provide recommendations for changes for the future elections. All observers will be entirely neutral and will work under an internationally accepted code of conduct for election observation. They cannot interfere in the electoral process and have no authority to change or correct any shortcomings. We work according to a standard methodology that has been used consistently for our observation mission across the world from Fiji to Venezuela. This methodology ensures that information on the conduct of an election and other indicators of the wider democratic environment are gathered systematically by the EU Election Observation Mission. The use of international standards for the elections as established in universal instruments, as well as the best practice for democratic elections, ensure that information gathered is assessed through a standard approach that is relevant to all countries. Shortly after election day, the mission will issue a preliminary statement on its initial findings. A more comprehensive final report, including recommendations for future elections, will be published within 2 months of the end of the electoral process. Our report is intended to provide a service to your country. First, it's an impartial and full-scale assessment of the electoral process, a snapshot of the state of a country's democracy. Second, and the most important, its recommendations are focused on improving the environment for the next elections. Also, this independent evaluation of the electoral process provides a possible basis for future electoral and democracy assistance programs. That's what I have to say at this moment of time. Thank you for your attention. Concerning your first question, we are following this issue, but it would be inappropriate for me to give any assessment or any statement now. First of all, we have come only a few days ago, and as I mentioned in my statement, it's not the policy of the observation missions to make any political statements or assessment during the preparation for the election or during the elections. So I would make a mistake, and it will be not in accordance with the international standards set in the international instruments or documents for this issue. So don't expect me any comment now. How is it going to influence? What kind of political implications? That would be not correct from me. The second question you asked about the significance of these elections. Well, European Union is very much interested in having good ties, good cooperation with Maldives. And since we have been invited to come and observe the parliamentary elections, which are very important for the situation in the country, for its future development of the country, and of the relations between the country and the European Union, it was decided to send the observers mission. We are sending these missions to many countries in the world, and we see it as the part of the EU's engagement in promoting the human rights and the democratization process in those countries.
Let me just clarify that we as election observers, we will provide the result of our election observation activity. And by this result, we mean the assessment of the elections that will be issued in our statement of preliminary findings and conclusions and the final report. But we are not going to provide any election results as such. This is the role of Elections Commission, and our role is only to observe how the Elections Commission is arriving at certain results, and so therefore we have no role in organizing elections. We just observers. We don't interfere in the process. Thank you.
Mary said at the beginning that after the election day we shall make the first preliminary statement, and sometimes 2 months, I also mentioned in my introductory remarks, there will be final statement by us which will include the recommendations which we gathered from following the electoral process. But we don't speak about the results of the elections. We are accompanying the process of the elections, and it's not our role to interfere or to try to correct any things which is going to happen during the process.